of the divine and stuff. And there are a few recurring characters in there, and there's a culture hero named Graffiti Child, and this is called Graffiti Child Builds the Church of Sleep. Janny Graffiti Child could tease out even the dragons threaded in the air. And he did she with their jostling his wrists, twisted them like magician's silk from their secret pipes in the brick wall sky. That time she dreamed he of the stained glass girl sprawled unconscious at the intersection of nothing. Her silent movie light and flickering breath breaking a collage of bells against the heart of everywhere. And night shifter Graffiti Child knew more than anything a city needs sleep. So he whispered she to the hypnotic figurine, "I'll worry you at church, sweet starfish." But with grinning instinct contracted the circadian job to the deafening reptile she unraveled. He, like wires, spitting sparks from all the anxious cracks in heaven. One for every wakeful hour, that Graffiti Child trick maker built the church of sleep with dragons. High in the midnight steeple, he welded she those restless lizards with engines in their mouths and poison nostalgia, and starving or gorged or razored with passion, the reptile mortar wrapped around and around the dark bright girl who would dandelion vanish if Graffiti Child didn't engineer monsters to thrash a sanctuary against the freeway winds and let sleep long for all her desperate pilgrims curled up in the coils of her unforgiving church. This one's called Demolition. What is there like us in this whole city? What else is there that lays the foundations in the fall and mines them as soon as spring arrives? It's not that we adhere to a ritual, it's the ritual that adheres to us. We must be the gods of something. And there's lots of Ottawa in the book, and this is a Hindenburg poem called The Evidence of Windows, which mentions Pearl Perry's street in here, it turns out. Hinton North and Wellington, where I hope to make you the subject of new bricks in an old wall. It was the Berg, and so it was July bird circles and the one-story street of dog walkers. And it was the summer, no one was anywhere, and it was waiting. There were no commitments from one restaurant to the next, so it was bikes and uncertain traffic and ornamental families and the old school and past the patios, the noble stagger of adits. And even the heat finished early as all the gallery blinds came down on the hydrant shadows, and the ceiling of the sky retreated from every bylaw, and it was the light on the last of the market flowers. And the take-home place and the maybe house had bright red bricks where windows used to be. And it was your name over and over that afternoon. And so it was maybe you as I eavesdropped and maybe missed my calling, until the part about how we make the wrong decisions and live with it or not, and the acoustic dark, and the part about love. And even so, it was a drop into beautiful night church, and the taxi under the dragon arch, and the backseat cross-hatched tides of shadow, and somewhere, yes, you, with all your skill, have every window bricked up. And even so, the sun moon and the broken mortar of the clouds, and the leftover stars and the corner store. It was the lost view at Hinton North and Wellington, and it was about you and me unable to lean out. Long lost infected princess. So the goddess of love. Meanwhile, the goddess of love in the cold with cat scratch legs and red lace withholds the tetanus shot I prayed for the whole audible night, until cans roll like broken bells in the gutter, and she is gone her vagrant way, staggering in the skunk sunrise, the rusting witch with her garbage day incense, pulling staples from telephone poles with naked teeth and red fingernails, desperate to kiss everything goodbye, knowing we will all be in love at the end of the world. This is an elegy I wrote way back for John Newlove called Last December. The trunk that holds you, that gray December bark, lowers its shadow over every cut-down street. This one, above all, has fallen like a beam swung down against a December storehouse door, leaving an arc of cloud an inch deeper in this year's wooden sky. Now that your December is endless, the intemperate wind renounces the season and peels the city like fruit, its wet fingers up under the roofs of Somerset, spraying birds against the splinters of rain, as if to show that all harvests fail. Everything is more ripe in decay, whole banquets fall off the wagon, and wonders cling like seeds even to grief. How else did that black dog arrive to stretch its grim leash across my path, animus of obscure roots, and the only light on this lumbering avenue is the psychic's neon sign, these promises stacked like cordwood. What else but the wind waking us all, before next year's chainsaw milk teeth freeze everything into paper? And speaking of, if I can turn the page, speaking of Somerset, the Chinatown Zodiac series was, the idea for that was to look at the 12 animals in the Chinese Zodiac, and looking at Ottawa's Chinatown on a map along Somerset, there's actually 12 intersections all along Somerset. Coincidence? So I wrote a poem associating each of the zodiac symbols with one of the streets, and invented a little myth or a legend or some sort of supernatural occurrence. So I'll just read a couple of those. This is a sort of origin poem. It's called Oxopolis. An age of handstands and spontaneous cartwheels, when the ox that plows the avenues unfolded the breathing clay, making a straight line called Rochester Street. How he dedicated his foaming shoulder blades and the vast degrees of his directional horns, scoring the urban earth, while we celebrated the first harvest of bricks, singing, "If streets are going to mean anything, let them know we were there when it happened." And there's a lot of sleeplessness in my book, in my life. This is called Curatorial Insomnia and the Dragonesque. Zero stamina, though my keeled logic never slows, sorting through the midnight revelation trove like "I'll never be Bollywood enough" and other deadly blows. Hours interpreting infill, charisma, a vine wall view, the docent moon that scales Annunciation with any luck, tomorrow ticking closer in the exuvia wake, mango slushies, dim sum zones, 9 mythic attributes. In the rain tonight, I can hear the worms all surfacing through the dermal layers of unrest, gasping in the teeth of the LeBreton Street dragonesque, accumulating, I haven't slept a thing. And this one I was going to read from my pal Melanie Brown, who couldn't make it tonight because she hates this poem. And I like it because I'm kind of a hopeless romantic. So this is Ferris Wheel. Tell me the Ferris wheel is coming. I'm on the long walk home and need to know the Ferris wheel is coming. Tell me a flatbed convoy is clouding through a God-fearing flatland, coming hard with the Ferris wheel. The last stretch somewhere, the marathon cargo and floodlight resolve. Tell me something is being assembled in the wrenching dark. Tell me it's coming, as though it's love this time. This time it's finally a front of the line, cliff edge arrival, where all we need is a deep breath and our no going back now hearts if the Ferris wheel is coming. Every day the city makes room for the cantilever miracle and every dragonfly weed lot and demolition arcade until there's nothing we can keep of the old places except throw stones and chain link cut through to the vacancy elsewhere. as though nothing is coming, not even the permission to miss you this way. And the graffiti and the bloodletting grass, unbroken and unmoved down the avenue's endless lines, unless the Ferris wheel is coming. And that's why the gas station is gone, the brick home, the stand of trees, to make up for every time I disappointed you, gone for the Ferris wheel to come. Tell me, tonight the city is swollen with fireworks, and from the bridge life is permanent skyline, where we can dream the silhouette aloft on the dark and the rust throat cello of restless secrets shifting against the sundown wind, and the strings of white light and faith for a quarter, and regrets bargained away, and the mirror of strangers and all the moving parts of love. So tell me the Ferris wheel is coming, the way you told me the seed star and the roads and the hush of longing, and we stood innocent in the gravel until the bar came down, and we were up in the calliope light, in the carnival arc, in the Ferris wheel. So that's stuff from Metro Pantheon. And speaking of rabbits, well done, Chris. I do have a wonderful little chapbook there. It's an excerpt from a work in progress called 400 Rabbits on the subject of the 400 rabbits of drunken revelry in Aztec mythology. And I'm writing a poem about each and every one of them and sort of what happened to them after the fall of the Aztec Empire. And these are not in the chapbook. This is a new sort of little section I'm working on about the 13 rabbits of the apocalypse. I'll read 2 of them. With nostalgia's face, cruel lust woke the rabbit prophet. One more time before the end of the world, he witnessed in dreams the 13 rabbits of the apocalypse, nameless and fallen, who will rise at last with new names to make civilization incoherent again. Inside a loveless clutch of strangers inside strangers, one rabbit with a crown like a dry mouth is coming to sprawl from humid midnight through degenerate noon, like oblivion's jackalope in the world's torn clothes, coming to engender the solitary billions with lonely throat exposed, with cheated consent, with spoil, coming with the unsatisfied groan of a cut purse whose name the rabbit prophet hears in dreams, abandon. A sky congested with suns woke the rabbit prophet, a nightless post-meridium cosmos. He witnessed in dreams the 13 rabbits of the apocalypse, nameless and fallen, who will rise at last with new names to make civilization incoherent again. In this apparition of a simplifying world, every species was a horizontal domino, every species but the vast rabbit monoculture. Nothing but rabbits, rabbits abundant and scrambling for their last breath in the billow of unanchored soil, round the clay feet of the apocalyptic idol, a gilded rabbit shedding dead bees from its hive crown as the lonely multitude choked on its name, harvest. The other stuff's more cheerful in the book. And I'll read you one last poem. This is from another work in progress called The Shadow Cabinet. And what I'm doing in that one is I'm kind of revisiting the concepts that I look at in Metro Pantheon with the city and myth and the supernatural and that sort of thing, but looking at it at a different sort of layer, this time through the lens of folk tales and fairy tales. It sounds really weird when I say it out loud. This is the test drive one, Steve. So there's recurring characters in this group of poems, including in this one, there's a whole group of characters, but John Sinklo is sort of a malcontent Oberon type of figure. And yeah, I'll see how this one goes. It's called Rhyme of the Dragon Man. Who is Sylvia? John Sinklo wonders. Torrentially bored in the eye beams of the unfinished kingdom and downcast, imagining the smooth brown hook of Sylvia's neck if she's making meaning from the cracks in the subway tiles, the illumination he left for Sylvia to find with her fox eyes reflecting. Mad John Sinklo, perched in the gods to watch the inner city fairy swarm, the Trister pilgrimage of Inamorati, the restless royal swans, braiding the rush hour traffic and calling, "Don't be slipshod, Johnny. This dirty gold kingdom once was almost gold." But John Sinklo knows, always was and always will be, this dirty gold kingdom is the Dragon Man city. Dragon Man hunts in the gypsy cabs, calculates how all the lights are programmed, outside forcing his way in, Dragon Man stalks with the scented men. Where is Sylvia? John Sinklo sighs, in the gulf between one balcony and the next, listening to the torch songs of the false fire troubadours rise from the daybreak billow. Sylvia ascends the uproar with her adrenaline hooves and her coat of sable or red or flaxen or pearl or blue dun or buckskin or rose gray, pacing the metro stairs, startled from the fluorescent valleys onto the plateaus of noble gas. And the royal swans of parkour and the light shafts sing, "Don't stage whisper, Johnny. This dirty silver kingdom once was almost silver." But John Sinklo knows he can fool you, but he can't fool me. This dirty silver kingdom is the Dragon Man city. Dragon Man scrolls the obituaries, doesn't believe in hell or fairies, foreman of heavenly pyramid schemes, Dragon Man sadomasterpiece. What next, Sylvia? John Sinklo hazards, stone kicking in an empty lot, invisible to the machinery men burying their shredded tires in the roof of Skid Kingdom. There's nothing honest in the earth, John Sinklo sees. As soon as you dig them, new holes look old. Opposite the detonation, for a moment, like wings folding, her eyes close as Sylvia arrives. And the royal swans cheer, brandishing their memorial tattoos. "Don't be haunted, Johnny. This dirty bronze kingdom once was almost bronze." But John Sinklo knows, I'm only haunted for I understand. We're ghosts in the mouth of the Dragon Man. Dragon Man sweet as the son of rain, perfecting the race of monster men, the disembodied incarnation, Dragon Man pristine supervillain. "Don't go up there, Sylvia," John Sinklo prays. She is standing with her back to the 6 a.m. avenue, whitetail still, staring up at a tower. The sun is blue, yet the lobby is embalmed in honey, walls of milk sacrificed from heaven, vanishing so even John Sinklo has to search for the sharp end in the sky, as the exodus of Inamorati, abandoning the beds of lovers, declare, "Don't be fatal, Johnny. This dirty iron kingdom once was almost iron." But John Sinklo knows, if dawn doesn't happen, this building will. The Dragon Man always, the Dragon Man still. Dragon Man cracks a skin dive smile, immaculate in rape culture black tie, born in a cradle of Zippo fire, Dragon Man thieving the golden life. "Start over, Sylvia," John Sinklo conjures, still addicted to the beginning of things, and circling like a star shark beneath the turrets of glass, a cardboard heart in his hands, as the unredeemed Inamorati, the trooping swans, and all the city unofficials drumroll decline. John Sinklo hums, "There is no justice in any of these straight lines, only memory and its distortions. The royal swans lose their masks and yawn. Can't stop now, Johnny. This dirty stone kingdom once was almost stone." But John Sinklo knows, maybe I can't and maybe I can. Only sure thing is the Dragon Man. Thank you.